and then not being able to do what I need to do to get it to, because once we're done, I edit this.
Hmm.
So, because for timing and I want to make sure it sounds as good as it possibly can be. So, all right, we are ready. Stand by. Coming to you. Ignore. Okay, here we go. In three, two, one. News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler and the Louisville Real Estate Show with you for the next, well, up to the top of the hour, actually. Joining me back in the studio for another round, we've got Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service. They hire veterans. They do come in as a team, and they get the job done. You can reach Brad and his crew at 844-411-TEAM. Brad, good to have you
Hey,
here.
good morning, everyone.
Also, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. Chuck is not only a great guy, but he's also a great attorney who does closings and wills. I've recommended Chuck to several of my friends for will. I know Greg just did
I
recently.
just did,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
yep, we appreciate everything he does in the city. And you can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Also, my son Greg does our marketing, photography, and so much more. Thank you for being there, brother.
Howdy, howdy.
And you can reach me anytime on my cell phone to get the house listed or a buyer agents to find properties for you. And you can reach me day or night, weekends as well, 376-5483. And coming up a little later, 10 house smells you should never ignore. First, a couple of items making news. Louisville is one of 3 cities that has grown the most in popularity with those people moving in from out of town since COVID-19's pandemic began. Did you guys know that by chance? That's according to a new analysis from the research brokerage, one of them in town and in the country. The report shows that Louisville ranks near the top of a new net inflow report alongside of, get a load of this, Santa Barbara, California, and Buffalo, New York. Santa Barbara grew the most in popularity, but we are up there here in the Louisville area. That's great news for anybody who is looking to sell their home, or for those of us realtors, or those of us involved in the real estate business. You may be asking right now, is it safe to sell my house? In today's real estate market, the buzz is all about how it's a great time to sell your house. Buyers' demand is high, and there simply aren't enough homes available to buy to meet that growing need. But is it safe? A new poll just released recently says that 34% of the people polled say life is too uncertain right now. They don't want to put their homes on the market. 31% say there's financial uncertainty, and that's why they don't want to put their homes on the market. And 25% polled say COVID-19 health concerns are preventing them from putting their homes on the market. So some of the things to alleviate fears, note that especially with COVID-19, you've got virtual tours, accurate and detailed listing information, detailed neighborhood information, high quality listing photos, and then agent led video chats. All this is helping to offset the concerns about COVID-19 health concerns. And with regards to financial uncertainty, well, now that the election is over, well, for the most part, we can all pretty much say that interest rates are staying down, and it's never been a better time to think about both buying and selling your home. And that takes us to, if you're a homeowner, something that I was kind of shocked to read. And Brad, I want to bring you in on this. And legally, Chuck, let me know if you have any concerns as well. 5 things to know basically before cleaning your home's air ducts. Many of the deals are scams, is what we're being told by a new survey. Brad, can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yeah, so I have some experience of this in that we do a lot of indoor air quality and environmental testing, and oftentimes air ducts are areas that you may have fungal growth in there. You may have other pollutants from previous families who have lived there that are in the ductwork. You may have lead particles that are in the ductwork, and it doesn't seem to be a standard around town that everyone is following. Good air quality standards of cleaning those ducts out. And oftentimes we find that there are some companies around town that are not using proper methods. They should be vacuuming the ducts, not blowing the ductwork out. We have heard problems with past clients who have had dust and dirt and debris shot all over the house because the duct cleaners actually just put a big blower on it and just tried to ram it all the way through the system. So you really got to know what you're getting. I mean, there are some very reputable names. I would definitely, if you read their reviews online, you're going to find out pretty quickly who the good ones are. I'm happy to talk to folks. I've got a list of good duct cleaners. They can call our office. I'm happy to talk to them. But the other thing that many of these companies do is they try to sell a lot of chemical products to go in the ductwork, and they tend to be very, very expensive. And I don't really know what they're getting for those chemical treatments that they're selling. So yeah, buyer beware with the duct cleaners, because it is an important thing to do, but you got to have the right professional doing it.
And it's true, improper duct cleaning can create more problems than it solves. I know you mentioned the dust everywhere. Is there anything else?
Yeah, the poor duct cleaning, yeah,
Yeah.
it can make a bigger mess than what you started with. I mean, I've heard of damage that's been done to lines, the way that they hook up the equipment to the lines, crushed flexible lines that some houses have, the duct cleaning causes the lines to collapse. I've heard of those things happening. So yeah, I think that if you don't know who you're hiring, you really need to be careful before you let them in your house.
Be very careful. If you want to see a replay of this show, by the way, you can go to LouisvilleAnswers.com, and that will take you to our YouTube channel, and you can just go from there. All right, so let's go to some of the questions that have come in recently via email. And by the way, if you have a real estate question, do not hesitate to send it to me via email for us to air it. I'm only going to use first names. You can make up the name if you want, so it doesn't matter. I don't give your name away. But send me the question, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, and that will get to me. We'll put it in the stack for the following show. So this one comes from Lenny, buying a condominium and just told that there is pending legal action against the condo association. And I think, Chuck, we've heard of this before. And she's concerned when she hears the word legal action. Do you think she's making a mountain out of a molehill, or what procedure?
Well, not necessarily.
How
Yeah,
should
whenever
she
there's
go? Yeah.
Well, she should find out what the litigation is all about. If you're borrowing money to buy a condo and there's litigation running on it, there's a few sets of condos here in town where that's the case. They just don't loan the money. People are going in there, they're buying it cash, but I would be afraid to sell a house under those circumstances. I mean, you really never know what the underlying issue is. You could say, the condos, but the condo association is the one doing the suing. We're suing the builder for not, doing this proper berm or whatever. Well, okay, that doesn't mean there's not a countersuit. That also doesn't mean that the underlying condition isn't worse than what you're suing for. I've seen a couple of those. There was one of my favorite. There was a bit of a lawsuit against a subdivision and the HOA associated with it. Apparently, it was on a hill, and there was sewage treatment at the top of the hill, and all the houses were built around the bottom of the hill.
Oh.
Okay. You see the issue.
Yes.
Not the lawsuit's not the worst issue here. So, when there's a lawsuit, you want to find out what it's about. You want to talk to your attorney to find out if you would have any liability going in. But the most frequent thing I hear is, oh, well, we're suing them. Well, yeah, and they're going to turn around and countersue you. And you never know what a judge is going to do until they do it. Mm-hmm. So just all around not good.
Got it. All right, let's go back to another question. And this one, some of us who have been in this business, it's going to bring back some memories. According to John, he's heard us talk about radon, asbestos, mold, and lead paint. In fact, I think we talked about those on our show last week. John's asking, have you ever heard of a problem including something with Chinese drywall?
Yes.
We're shaking our head.
Yeah.
Explain what that was all about.
Yeah.
But let's start with Brad. Chuck, we'll go over to you next.
Yeah, it was a type of product that was brought into the States this was quite a few years ago. And I'm sorry, I've just lost the date as to the kind of when this ended, but
Yeah.
it's been more than 15 years ago when this was a prevalent problem. But the problem with Chinese drywall is it has urea in it, and the gas that it gives off causes a corrosion of anything metallic. So the entire electrical system of the house, the entire plumbing system in the house, if it's copper pipe, is affected by the Chinese drywall. The only way to tell whether or not you have Chinese drywall is to look at the back of it and see what the name is on the back side of it. But I've not seen or heard too many houses in the Louisville area that are impacted by it. There's some parts of the country that are still dealing with it, but not so much here.
Got it. Chuck, any thoughts on that from your end on the legal side?
Well, I can only imagine the lawsuits that would be engendered if I bought a house and then found out I had to tear out all the drywall and rebuild it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What was done,
But
I think
like
that
I said,
happened.
that's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember some cases like that, but that was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
So for someone like Greg, who just built a new house, can he be assured that, now I know Greg was over there all the time. Did you ever look at the back of the drywall, Greg, to see what the type of drywall they were using?
Not specifically because I wasn't looking at anything. I know the history and reputation of my builder. But at the end of the day, I mean, I was in there every day. If I noticed something fishy or saw some sort of Chinese writing where I maybe thought it should not have been, I would have asked my builder, what the heck is going on here?
Hey, what is this?
Yeah.
Plus, my builder loves good old America, and I know he has something properly. So.
And there's not a shortage of that product right now, like there was back in 4, 5, 6 when they couldn't keep up with production demands.
So were there smells with this drywall? What was the indication that
I don't.
they had
Well, so all of your copper plumbing will turn black. So all of your copper pipes turn black. That's the first indicator that you have. But your electrical wiring will do the same thing. So your white wires, if you look inside an outlet, your wires will be black in color. That's your first clue. That's the first thing.
But it wasn't a smell, is what you're saying. It wasn't
I
necessarily.
don't. Yeah. I mean, any new product gives off some sort of off gassing.
Yeah.
I don't think that Chinese drywall necessarily the smells lasted longer. I don't know, but I don't think it was the smell that clued them to the problem.
Well, this leads perfectly into what we're going to talk about after the break. 10 house smells you should not ignore. We'll see
pumpkin pies.
No.
Pies on the list.
We should point out that our pumpkin pie giveaway is coming up this week.
Yep.
And if you want to send me an email, I'll send you the location where to sign up for it. Greg's wife, Casey, who's an agent with us, a great agent, was telling us we've had an incredible, remarkable turnout already, registration for it. And we're going to do it a little differently this year because of COVID. We're going to be outside. Hopefully it's going to be a day that's not snowing or raining, but we'll have a little tent. We're going to be handing out pies that people have registered for. I think a number of our people are involved in helping to support that. So our thanks. I think, Brad, you're on it with Home Team and some of our other vendors as well. So, okay, hang in there. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the 10 house smells. Here with us on today's show, Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices, and you can reach Chuck for a closing or a will or a variety of other things. It occurs to me, Chuck, you should get me a list of things that you do in addition to everything I know you do. I could rattle these off. 499-6360 is Chuck's direct number. Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service at 844-411-TEAM. And they come in as a team. They do a great job. You can reach Brad there. My son, Greg, who does a great job with all the stuff that he does for us with our marketing and photography. And you can reach me anytime on my cell phone at 376-5483. And by the way, if you want to see what people are saying about us, go to LouisvilleZillow.com. That's LouisvilleZillow.com. We are back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS. So we're here with you, the Louisville Real Estate Show. I'm Bob Sokoler. We're here till the top of the hour. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran, for all your help and endorsement and being a mentor. Appreciate that. Of course, you can see Barbara on Shark Tank. Here with us on the Zoom, coming from our each individual locations, Chuck Crosby. The Crosby Law Offices at 499-6360. Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service at 844-411-TEAM. And my son Greg, who does our marketing and so much more. And you can reach me anytime at 376-5483. All right. You know, we're spending a lot of time indoors, especially now with the cold weather, and we want to be more cognizant of some of the smells that we may be seeing. Now, in addition to Thanksgiving turkey, which, by the way, I'm planning on smoking the turkey. I'm just not sure how we're going to deliver it to all my families, my kids and their grandkids and all.
You better figure that out, buddy. You've got especially your daughters, but
yeah, I thought we're meeting at your house, but
I'm not so needy.
Okay, well, we'll figure that.
Well, we'll have to see. Well, once we get there, we're gonna have to see what governor. We're in a red county. We got to be cognizant. You know, things are no matter what you believe, you got to be careful. I'm trying to protect you, old man. I love you.
I appreciate that,
and we want to keep you safe.
All right. So first of all, gas smell in the house. So gas smells like what? It's rotten eggs. Is that
rotten eggs? Yeah, that's the chemical additive that they put in it so that we can smell it. Otherwise, there is no smell to it naturally occurring. So yeah, if you smell rotten eggs in the house,
you say, "Hey, are we cooking something?" Yes. Okay. No.
Or you live in that subdivision that Chuck was talking about near the wastewater plant. But that's
How about a musty smell in the house? I think that's obviously mold. Is that what we're thinking?
Well,
it's not me.
It could be anything that has gotten wet and is probably staying wet. You know, could it be fungal growth? Yeah, very likely. But a lot of times you just even have that smell because they've got a small leak somewhere, and it just the smell just kind of accumulates in those areas where the leaks occurred.
Now, how about if this may be right up what you were talking about. If your home smells like a waste treatment plant, you could have a leak of sewer gas. That's correct. Yeah.
Could it also be a teenager?
Teenage boys, in my experience, for sure.
I mean, I've got an 11-month-old, and sometimes I walk into his room and I'm like, "Hey, what?"
I got it. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'll tell you, those are pretty common when the traps go dry. So if you've got bathrooms, if you've got toilets, if you've got sinks that aren't regularly used, run a little bit of water in them, because once the trap dries out, then you've got sewer gases that are coming into the house.
And I'll come clean. I'll admit, when we had my last basement finished, we had the plumbers come in and finish the bathroom, and we never really used it. It was in the basement, and then we noticed these flies coming up, and we were like, "Are these fruit flies? What?" And it was sewer flies because there was no water in the trap to keep them, and that fixed it. Just putting a little bit of water in the pipe.
So what about a strong smoke smell that you might, and no one's smoking?
Again, I always ask my wife, are we burning a candle first?
Yeah, right. Of course, check that. But what would that be?
You're smoking turkeys. I don't know.
Smoke is probably the one thing that you should always immediately try to figure out what that is.
Well, according to this report, if you only smell the smoke once in a while, like when using a particular light or appliance, it could be an electrical smoke behind a wall or a ceiling light fixture, right, Brad?
Those smell very different, though. Melting, scorching, burning plastic, and those materials have a very acrid smoke smell to them. They're very unique. It won't smell like just regular smoke.
Yeah, and I would say, if you do smell that, don't let it get to like, every time I turn this light on, it just does this, and I don't really pay attention to it. Do it, fix it right away.
Yeah.
What about a fishy odor in your home? And I'm not talking about if you're putting some salmon on the grill or on your stove, and you don't remember buying any seafood. You're smelling fish. Any thoughts about that? No?
No, help us with that one.
Could be a sign that an electrical fixture, like an appliance in your home, is overheating.
Yeah, I don't think of that as a fishy smell.
Yeah,
but it's a smell that's very unique. It's unlike anything else that you smell. I don't call it fishy, but I understand where they're going with that. That's what I was talking about, that acrid kind of smell.
Got it. If you notice a raunchy, wild smell like dog in need of a bath, but you don't have a dog, you could have rodents, raccoons, squirrels in your attic.
Attic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty. Or mice. Mice are, if you have funny little wet spots on your ceiling or little small little stains, you probably have a little mouse nest just above it in your insulation.
Mm.
Raccoons leave much larger spots, and they make a mess really quickly, and you will not mistake their smell, particularly if a family of them moves into your attic.
What about, we've heard the secondhand smoke, but there are newly emerging concerns about third-hand smoke, which is the smell of old smoke that lingers, such as in a hotel room or vacation rental previously occupied by smokers. And with third-hand smoke, the parties associated with the combustion of tobacco actually the particles have settled into surfaces, including counters, tabletops, and bed linen. Any way to get rid of that other than just doing a thorough cleaning?
Thorough clean, ductwork cleaning. If you've got nicotine stains on your walls, you're going to have to scrub them down real well, and you may end up having to use a product like Kills paint to seal over
All right.
those stains.
Ammonia smell in the house, it might be identified as cat pee, but if you don't own a cat, obviously, it's an unpleasant metallic smell, and you shouldn't ignore it, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few refrigerants that still use that type of a product. They're not as common unless you've got a real old cooling system or something in your house that like an old refrigerator that uses ammonia based
Okay.
refrigerants.
Finally, a sweaty gym smell has to deal possibly with bacteria growing in your HVA system or in the
Or a teenage
filter.
boy growing upstairs.
Yeah,
Again,
right. Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
these.
that's you in down the road. Yeah, yeah.
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 Any of, I would say any of those are possible. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's back to some questions. And Chuck, this is something we actually talked about a little bit ago. This is, without using any names, this is actually ongoing, that a buyer purchasing a home, getting ready to close, finds out that the home is either in Chapter 13 or part of a bankruptcy. And now the closing that was anticipated in the next couple of days is on hold. What would you suggest? Is there any legal action against an agent because the agent may not have known about it?
Yeah, the agent might not have known about it. I mean, that's not something that, is advertised on billboards. There's ways to find out about it. And if you're in Chapter 13, or 7 or whatever, and you're trying to sell real estate, you need a court order. That's just not something that, you don't, or you forget to mention. Let's put it that way.
So how do you cure it at this point? Do you have to go to a judge?
Yeah, you do. If there's Chapter 13 going on and they're trying to sell the house and they've gone ahead, well, the fact of the matter is, let's back up. Bankruptcy is like probate for people. Okay, it's you die, you probate. Your financial self dies, you go to bankruptcy court. So once you're dead, obviously you don't have any ability to sign or sell anything, right? Same way in bankruptcy. Any contract entered into without the court's permission is just void. It's no good. You've got to get the court's permission to sell the property, and you want it to be very specific, especially in a 13, where this money goes to this place, this money goes to that place, the balance goes here to pay off the Chapter 13, and that order isn't something you can just get. Especially these days. I think the quickest I ever saw it was like 2-3 weeks. So, you can get it fixed. It's just, I have always found it to be amazing that somebody is so out of the loop that they don't mention they're selling an asset of the bankruptcy estate to their attorney.
Is it possible?
Who would immediately say, don't do this.
If the buyer needs to get into the house, is there a way to do a pre-occupancy? Is that advised?
Yeah, you can do that. It's just a mess all the way around.
It's a mess. Let me ask you one other thing then on a related topic, because we know of several people. COVID-19 has taken such a toll on the lives of folks locally and around the country. in that there are a lot of cases where someone who becomes ill with COVID, immediately they've been thinking about the future, and they may do a POA for their son or daughter
Mhm.
to represent them if they need to sell their home. But if that person passes away, whether it's from COVID-19 or not, that POA is gone at that
Worthless.
point,
Yeah.
worthless.
Power of
So,
attorney is only good while you're alive.
so what suggestions would you make to all of us at this point with regards to having a will in place, and what should the will specifically say to protect the heirs and it from going into a long embattled court battle over 6 months or so?
I don't know how many court battles I've ever seen over that sort of thing. I imagine there are some.
Yeah.
But the problem is you got some guys out there that write up wills that don't include a proper power to sell in the personal representative. Personal representative be the executor, that sort of thing. They have only the power that's listed in the will. So if it says, I give you the right to sell all of my assets, well, that's not quite getting there. It's got to say, I'm giving you the right to sell without court permission, property, both real and personal. It's not difficult to put it in there, but if it's not in there, then you have to go do a 389A action, which is get court permission to sell. And that process can take up to 3 months, 30 days to get all the heirs notified. That can be waived though. If everybody's all okay with it, then you have usually about 30-ish days before you can get the order. And then from the date of the order being entered, you have 30 days during which you can't write up a deed, period. Any deed written and signed during that time frame is just void. And that's all there is to it.
So this is important. I think so. Out of everything that Chuck's just said, if you haven't, as a parent, had your will updated or checked by an attorney who does wills, and I will tell you, out of sheer transparency, I just had this done by Chuck, and I think Greg, you did as well, right? You're muted. I can't hear you. Or maybe you're.
There you go. No, I'm better now. As soon as we had our kid, we went and saw Chuck and made sure everything was in line.
Yeah, you want to get the will done, especially if there's kids involved. I mean, it's just, you know, the time frames can get to be onerous, but there's no way around them.
Now more than ever, with so much going on in our community and around the country and around the world. There's good news, of course, with COVID-19 vaccine, hopefully coming out sooner than later, and the announcement by Pfizer and others. But certainly it's not something that you want to take lightly. Chuck, we thank you for being here. You can reach Chuck for more information with regards to closings or wills or anything at 499-6360. Brad Lawler, owner of Home Team Inspection Service, great guy, great group, 844-411-TEAM. My son Greg does our marketing, photography, so much more. And you can reach me anytime to help you sell or find a home. We've got plenty of agents that are ready to help you. You can reach me at 376-5483. We are out of time. See you next week on News Radio 840 WHAS. All right, well, we got pretty serious at the end of that show, don't you think? But I think it was, I really do.
Yeah.
Well, it happens. I can't count the number of times I've been going through something only to find out there's a chapter 13 involved.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
I mean, yeah, you hit it. He said the death. I was like, oh, if you're in probate, when you go into bankruptcy, that's the death of your financials.
Yeah, it is. It's your financial death.
Yeah. Well, we have.
You can't be with no resurrection. You can't.
We have this going on right now. We have a client who passed away. He's well known. His kids were POA. He passed away from COVID, and now we're waiting to hear what to do with the contract we have on his house.
And so he went to POA before.
The contract just goes to the estate. I mean, that's all there is to it. They can't not sell it to him.
No, it's a contingent contract, so that's the problem on top of that. So, all right, guys, thank you all for doing this.
Absolutely.
I'll keep you posted from the trip. We'll see how that goes. Chuck, what's the story on yours? Are you off or on?
Oh, it canceled. Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, they canceled it.
Well, we're happy Thanksgiving to you guys. We're heading to San Diego next week, see our new granddaughter. So
Good for you.
Congratulations.
You're
Thank you.
flying? You're flying?
we are
Congratulations.
flying. Yeah. We're
gotta-
going to fly out there and
Mask, glasses,
yeah.
shields if you got them, if you can wear.
Yeah.
Ours hasn't canceled in January yet for ours cruise,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling it will.
Ours canceled about a week ago.
Did it really? Are they
Yeah.
rebooking you, or what are they going to do?
We haven't decided whether we're going to do a rebooking. Plus, they give you like 125% credit.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we're thinking about that.
That's a plus. That'll
Was
work.
this cruise? A cruise?
Yeah, he was going on a cruise. Yeah.
Let's say, didn't the cruise? All this stock market jumping. These just based off of theoretical news.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
The cruise lines
Yeah,
didn't
but-
go with them though.
But guess who's got a lot of Pfizer in their portfolio?
Hey baby.
I bought a
baby.
little bit, but yeah, I bought all 5 of them that were working it. So, all right,
Yeah.
guys, take care,
All
stay safe.
All right.
Talk to you
All
down
right,
the
we'll
road.
see you all later.
See you, gents.
Thanks, guys.
Stay
All right.
safe.
Bye.